Hello, nice to see you. And today we're going to talk about the number one thing that keeps people stuck. Most of us. Some people have figured it out, but keeps a lot of us stuck because we don't realize what's happening with us. And I have three important points to consider. Um, and I just want to bring this out, and I know I probably talked about it as a part of another live or something like that, but I think that this is something that's really important. It's something that you really need to be aware of so that you can then do something about it. Because when you don't know and you're not aware, self-aware especially, then that's where the problems come in. So first of all, before I get started, let me introduce myself to those of you that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting. My name is Cherie Woodard, and I help business builders and entrepreneurs to be able to come online and use the power of social media to be able to get prospects, leads, and sales in their business. I do this in a variety of ways. I use attraction marketing, I use lead generation, video marketing, branding, as well as giving you modern and updated tips and strategies. Those that are more for today and the time that we're living in. And so that's what I do. So I'm going to leave that right there. So when I'm talking about the number one thing that keeps most of us stuck, can you tell me what that is? Can you drop in the chat what you think it might be? And the chat is open. I've checked it, so you can put in your questions, your thoughts, your concerns, whatever that may be, and we can have a conversation about it. Um, Usually what I do, if someone gives me permission, is I'll show what they've said on the screen. But then later is when I go and I answer questions. And or you can always message me if you want to go deeper and get a further understanding of what it is that I'm really talking about. Because some people just need to further understand, need to hear it more than once, more than twice, more than three times. People need to hear it. I mean, there's been times with me that there are things that just didn't, I just wasn't getting it. But after repetition, eventually I was able to get it, understand it, and then put it in my toolkit. So I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Trying to talk through at least a few seconds to see if anyone had anything to put in there. I understand people are busy. I know it's during the day. I actually have a doctor's appointment, so as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to be zooming out of the house and running to the doctor's office. I I still wanted to come and go live, and I figure I had enough time to do this and give you this information that might be helpful to you, might give you something to really consider, really think about, and write some things down for yourself. What is it that you are having a problem with? So I'm going to go on and give it to you what I'm talking about today. The number one thing that keeps most people stuck is fear. And fear is something that gets you from the inside, and it like grabs a hold and just hangs on to you. My hand is, you can't even see my hand. But anyway, it just takes and grabs a hold on the inside. And I've felt that fear before, and it was so awful. And I told this story once. It was about me and a boy, and I had been bullied, for so long. But this one boy kept poking his hand through the back of my desk, and I guess I just snapped. And I jumped up, grabbed his desk, and with him in it, because the desk was attached to the chair, and I just threw him and the chair down on the floor in the room. I was scared to death, but I was not going to let him keep sticking his hand and touching my private part. You just don't do that, but I remember guys doing it all the time, and I believe the teachers knew that, and they didn't help. And so I had to help myself. And that was something that brought about a change in me. And even though I still might have been bullied, they didn't come near me. They stayed away because they thought I was just a little bit too strong. So that's okay with me. And then eventually the bullying stopped. But it was terrible, and it was I don't know. It's just a feeling that you have that you want to get rid of, but if you don't know how, you don't know how. And I learned how. I learned to stand up for myself even more so, although people would just mostly say things to me, nasty, mean, rotten things to me. They talked about my face when I used to have acne, and they called me Zit Face, Rocky Road, all those types of negative names. And then when I, picked the chair up and threw the kid, and the chair to the floor, then they started calling me other really bad names, and were saying all types of stuff. But they didn't come near me, so I just dealt with that. So I don't know if you've had to deal with a fear like that, because, and the other thing apart about this fear is that when the guy got up off the ground, he jumped up off the floor, he jumped up in my face, and every part of me was shaking from the core out to my arms, my legs, my head, everything. My whole body was shaking, but I would not move. I stood there in a stance, ready to fight if I had to, and I wasn't about to run. That was it. I had had it. So that fear, even though it was there, even though it was my whole body was shaking from the inside out, I couldn't back off from that because I wasn't going to let him, cause me issues. David, could you keep your voice down, sweetheart? And so I know what fear is like. And I feel for those that are stuck in fear and can't get out. There are so many different types of fears. I wrote down three. Well, I wrote down a bunch of them, but I'll just run through some of them real quick because there are a lot of people that don't even realize they have these fears. Fear of success. Who even knew that that was a real thing? You hear about it, you read about it maybe, but you think, yeah, who would be afraid of success? But it's a truth. Fear of the unknown, fear of mean and nasty people, fear of going live, when going live online is one of the biggest ways to reach out and to make connections with those people that are like you. I'm sorry, nose itchy. I'm so, it's just rough to be that afraid. And if they're afraid like I was at that time in my life, as a teenager in high school, it's just amazing. It's just I can understand that feeling, but there's nobody standing in front of their faces. They're just looking into a box. And if you think about it like that, I'm just looking into a box. I want to find the camera, and you find the camera by bringing your finger and sticking it right in front of the camera. And once you figure out where the camera is, then you just look into the camera and you talk. And the first time's not going to be perfect, or it may, you never know. But as far as I'm concerned, we never actually reach perfection. We continue to strive for it. So being uncomfortable, I didn't know what being uncomfortable was until I found this organization, this company that I'm in, that's a mentorship, and for me, an education. It's teaching me something that I was a registered nurse and I never knew anything about business or marketing or any of that. So I'm learning a lot, and I learned that it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to not understand. It's okay to have to go back and repeat until finally it gets into your head and you understand what it is. And our brains, they used to say that there was nothing they could do once there was brain damage, but that's not true anymore. People actually can have different, and I may be using the wrong terminology, but grooves grow in their brain to accept more information. If one side is damaged, then the other side may take up for it. So I just know that this is something that people deal with, and it's a hard thing to deal with. And so the three fears that I was going to bring up was number one, what people say about you. Who cares? Who cares? If people write mean or nasty things on your comments in your comments section after your live or during your live, do they actually know you? Do they actually really know the type of person that you are? Why let them control you? You're in control. You're in control. You're the one that says yes or no. You're the one that, speaks into the camera and gives value to those out there that are like you, to those people that you want to help. And it's just important to be able to do that. And using live video is one of the tops. It's 80% now, and it's going to go even higher, because everybody's getting into video. Even my mentor told us sometime last week that Instagram is, changing some things because they know that video is important, and so they're changing some things to make it more video friendly or whatever. But what people say, as long as they are not paying your bills, as long as they are not, somebody that's always up in your face, which you're online, you're talking into a box, the computer, and it doesn't matter what people say, because they're not the ones that's taking care of you. They're not the ones that's paying you. They're not the ones that's, doing whatever. And some people just do it just to be mean. Some people do it just to harass. Some people do it like a joke. Like way back in the day, people used to get the telephone books, which we had these really thick telephone books. And some kids would take those telephone books and just go through and start asking strange questions, bugging the heck out of people and making up strange questions. They think that's funny. I never thought it was, but, I'm not exactly the typical, I'm a little bit of an oddball, but I like myself, I love myself, and I like who I am. So, that being concerned about what people say, no, that's never going to keep me from going live. And then the other thing that I had, let's see, I've talked about mean people. I've talked about what people say and why it doesn't really matter. I've talked a little bit about going live. And the other thing is about, and I mentioned it, but being uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. We're learning, we're growing. And I've done this most of my life. A little water. Yeah. Um, I've gone through school for so many different degrees and then couldn't really even use them. David, excuse me. David, could you please turn it down? Okay, so hopefully you can't hear him, but he's got music. David, turn the music down, honey. Thank you. I'm still doing a live. Uh, did David? Did you hear me? I'm right now. I'm going live. Okay. Okay. So sorry about that. Almost. Let's see. Where was I? I was talking about what was ah, I lost my place. Being uncomfortable. So it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to try to learn new things because as you continue to do that, then it just, like I said, your brain starts to make these grooves and you start to learn it. And what would seem so hard when you first heard it is now, maybe almost second nature, depending on where you are in the process. um, Things just continue to get better as you continue to learn and grow and learn and grow and take action, because taking action is the big part of it. If you learn and grow and you don't put it into action, then you may lose, what you're trying to learn. And I did that with something that I thought, oh, all I need to do is just listen to these recordings and I'll have it. But when I needed it, I didn't have it, so I had to learn myself another lesson that I need to do the not only the listening part, I need to do the paper part. So write out the stuff, write out the information, and keep going from there. So basically, these are things that keep people stuck, and fear is the number one. So if you can get yourself to where you know what you're afraid of, and you can then go from there to um, after you identified what you're afraid of, then you can, let's see, did I write that down? No. When you, because I was going to make this another, actually, you know what? I'll go over tomorrow some things that you can do to help yourself when it comes to fear. So I'm not going to keep this going because I do need to run out here to the doctor. And they'll give us a part two for tomorrow on this particular subject of fear and what we can do to change it. And I have the exact thing that one of my mentors, one of our leaders, taught us in a workshop. And I really believe it works. And other people have tried it and it works. So I'm going to pass that on to you tomorrow. So basically, I'm not seeing comments or questions or anything like that right now. So I'm going to do some housekeeping things really quick. Oh, and the other thing is I am going to, when this video is downloaded, I will have information in the comment section that will allow you to be able to take a look at a free training series that I have that teaches you about not chasing, but having people reaching out to you because of the value that you deliver and because of the help that you deliver. So they will be reaching out for you. You won't be chasing strangers and bugging your family and friends. So that is where I started, and I haven't looked back since. I just keep moving, and I just continue to grow and learn and put things into action. So I will have that on the video in the comment section when this is downloaded. So that is it. So let me do the housekeeping things real quick. Keep your notifications on so you know when I'm going live. Remember, we're still walking through the stuff we're walking through, so please do the best that you can to take care of and keep safe you, your family, your friends, and others. Remember that there are people that are isolated out there, that a phone call, text message, email, or even, getting them on a Zoom call or something like that would really probably lift their spirits. And for us that pray, please don't stop praying. Keep lifting us and our world as we continue to walk through the stuff we're walking through. We will make it to the other side. and we will be the stronger for it. So wherever you are in the world, no matter what time it is for you, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, sleepy time, always make it the best that you can make it. Always be the best that you can be. And God bless, God keep, and I will see you tomorrow, and we'll talk about how to handle fear. And then you can move on from there. And as you continue to do something, it becomes a part of you, and you learn and grow and take action and not have to be stuck in fear. So take care. Talk soon. Bye now.